Here's a question. What's the most expensive thing you've ever bought? For most of us, it's a car, maybe a used Honda Civic. If your net worth were the size of a grain of rice, the average billionaire's wealth would be a building 47 stories tall. But here's where it gets strange.
In 2019, luxury brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and Balenciaga were printing money. Logos were everywhere.
Influencers wore head-to-toe designer fits. Flex culture was at its absolute peak. The message was simple. If you have it, show it.
Then, something broke. By 2023, Gucci's sales dropped 20%.
Just talk to us about these Kering results. What's so difficult at Gucci to turn the ship around?
The quarterly results at Gucci were very negative. They fell at 25%, which was slightly worse than expected.
Very tumbling in France right now. The luxury group reporting an 11% decline in revenue for the first half of the year. Right now, down by more than 7%. Kering said that there was a marked deceleration in China and that trends did not improve greatly in North America and Europe. That is a repeat of what we have been hearing over the last recent weeks.
Balenciaga faced a PR nightmare.
Louis Vuitton started quietly removing logos from their most expensive pieces. Meanwhile, brands you've never heard of, the Loro, Piana, Brunello, Cucinelli, are now selling $8,000 cashmere sweaters with no logo at all.
The ultra-rich stopped flexing, and the reason why reveals a hidden war happening at the top of the wealth pyramid. A war between old money and new money. A war over who gets to decide what luxury even means. This is the story of how the 1% canceled themselves.
Chapter 1. The Golden Age of the Flex.
Let's rewind to 2015. Instagram is exploding. YouTube is minting millionaires. Crypto bros are buying Lamborghinis in their 20s.
The message is everywhere. Wealth is meant to be seen. This is the era of supreme drops. Of Virgil Abloh slapping quicks on a Nike Stretch and charging $400.
Of influencers turning themselves into walking billboards because brands paid them to do it. Gucci, under Alessandro Michele, becomes the hottest brand on earth.
Their strategy: maximalism, loud patterns, clashing colors, logos the size of your face, and it works.
Why? Because luxury wasn't about quality anymore. It was about signaling. The bag had to scream, "I can afford this, and you can't." The watch had to announce your status from across the room. Subtlety was for people who couldn't afford to be loud. But here's the thing. When everyone can buy a logo, the logo loses its power.
By 2018, you could walk through any major city and spot fake Gucci belts on every corner. TikTok teens were making haul videos with designer dupes.
The very people luxury brands were trying to exclude had found a way in, or at least a way to look like they were in. And the billionaires noticed. Chapter 2. The Fracture. Old money versus new money. There's an invisible line that divides the wealthy. On one side, new money. Tech founders, crypto millionaires, athletes, entertainers, people who made their fortunes in the last 20 years. They flex loud because they need you to know they've made it. On the other side, old money, generational wealth, families who've been rich for so long that they don't even think about money anymore. To them, flashing a logo is vulgar. Old money has always dressed differently. They wear brands like Loro, Piana, Brunello, Cucinelli, and Loro. Labels so quiet you wouldn't recognize them unless you were already in the club. A Loro Piana sweater costs $4,000. It has no logo, no branding, just perfect cashmere. If you know, you know. If you don't, you're not supposed to. This is called stealth wealth. And for decades, new money didn't care. They wanted the logos. They wanted people to know. But then, around 2020, something shifted. The pandemic hit. Suddenly, billionaires couldn't fly to Ibiza or host galas. Social media turned hostile. People were losing their jobs, and influencers were posting selfies in Gucci. The optics were bad. Then came the social justice movements. Eat the rich stopped being a joke. Wealth became something to hide, not flaunt. New money looked at old money and thought, maybe they're onto something. Chapter 3. The Threshold. The Mystery MacGuffin. Let me tell you about a store you have probably never heard of. It's called Loro Piana. It's located on Madison Avenue in New York, and if you walk past it, you might not even notice. The storefront is beige, minimalist, no giant logos, no window displays screaming for attention. Step inside, and you'll find $800 t-shirts, $12,000 coats, $3,000 loafers. Nothing has a logo, nothing is flashy. And yet, this brand is worth over $6 billion. Here's what makes it strange. Loro Piana doesn't advertise. They don't sponsor influencers. They don't run Super Bowl commercials. And they don't need to, because their customers already know. In 2023, Loro Piana became the fastest growing luxury brand among billionaires. Not Gucci, not Louis Vuitton. A brand that actively refuses to be seen. How? The answer lies in a fabric. Loro Piana sources vicuña wool, one of the rarest materials on Earth. Vicuñas are wild relatives of llamas that live in the Andes Mountains. They can only be sheared once every 3 years, and each animal produces just 250 grams of wool. To make a single coat requires wool from 30 animals. A Loro Piana Vicuña coat costs $40,000. And here's the kicker. It looks like a normal coat. No one would know it cost more than a car unless you told them. But when you're standing next to another billionaire wearing the same coat, you both know. You're both in the club. This is the new language of wealth. Chapter 4. The Deep Dive. Active Investigation. I started digging into this, and I found something everyone missed. There's a private shopping event that happens every year in Monaco. It's not publicized. You can't buy a ticket. You have to be invited. The guest list includes royal families, hedge fund managers, and CEOs you've never heard of. And at this event, brands like Hermes, Brunello Cucinelli, and Loro Piana showcase pieces that will never hit stores. One example. Hermes created a custom leather jacket for a Saudi prince. It was made from a single crocodile skin, hand-stitched by a master craftsman over 6 months. Price? $450,000. It has no Hermes logo. When I reached out to a luxury consultant who works with UHNW clients, ultra-high net worth, people worth over $30 million, she told me something chilling. Logos are for people who need to prove something. My clients don't need to prove anything. They need to disappear. Disappear. Think about that. The richest people on Earth are actively trying to blend in. Why? Because in 2026, being visibly wealthy is dangerous. Not just socially, also physically. Yes. Kidnappings of wealthy individuals are up 30% globally since 2019. Home invasions targeting luxury watch collectors are now a category of crime. And then there's social media. When you post a photo in a Gucci jacket, algorithms track it. Hackers catalog it. Strangers analyze your spending. One billionaire told his stylist, "I don't want anyone to know what I'm worth by looking at me." Stealth wealth isn't just a trend. It's survival. Level 5. The ultimate scale. Let me show you how deep this goes. In 2022, a private client paid Brunello Cucinelli $1.2 million for a custom wardrobe. 50 pieces. Suits, sweaters, shoes, all made by hand in Italy. 0 logos. That same year, Gucci sold 14 million items with their logo on it. See the difference? One client gets exclusivity. 14 million people get a symbol. But here's where it gets truly insane. There's a brand called Keaton, Italian tailor suits. They make suits that start at $8,000 and go up to $50,000. Each suit takes 25 hours to make by hand. And they have a rule. You cannot buy a Keaton suit unless you've been referred by an existing client. No walk-ins, no online orders. You literally need to know someone to access their clothing. This is gatekeeping at its purest form, and it's spreading. The Row, founded by Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, operates the same way. No logos, minimal advertising. You either know or you don't. Their revenue? Over $200 million a year. Meanwhile, Gucci just announced they're removing logos from their highest-tier collections. The brand that built an empire on monograms is now ashamed of them. Here's the truth. Luxury isn't about objects anymore. It's about access. The new Flex isn't wearing a $10,000 coat. It's wearing a coat that looks normal, but is so exclusive that only 50 people on Earth own one. Chapter 6. The Human Heart Pivot. Let me tell you a story that changed how I see all of this. There's a billionaire named Nicholas Berggren. He's worth $2.5 billion. He doesn't own a home. He doesn't own a car. He lives in hotels. When asked why, he said,
"Possessions weigh you down. I want to be free."
And yet, when you see photos of him, he's always wearing the same thing. A simple black sweater, black pants, white sneakers. That sweater? Brunello Cucinelli, $3,000. The sneakers? Common Projects, $500. He owns 10 identical outfits. That's it. Here's what hit me. This man has billions. He could buy anything, dress however he wants. And he chooses sameness, simplicity. Because at a certain level of wealth, stuff stops mattering. You're not shopping to impress people. You're shopping to disappear into comfort, to find the perfect thing and never think about it again. And that's when I realized, the death of the flex isn't about humility. It's about exhaustion. The ultra-rich are tired of performing, tired of being watched, tired of the game. They've realized what the rest of us already know. No one actually cares what you're wearing. Chapter 7. The Empowerment Outro. Here's the beautiful irony. While billionaires are desperately trying to look normal, normal people are desperately trying to look rich. We're buying fake Rolexes, financing designer bags, wearing logos we can't afford. And the actual rich? They're at Uniqlo. I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy nice things, but here's the truth they figured out. The real luxury is not caring what anyone thinks. When you stop performing, you win. When you stop signaling, you're free. The ultra-rich abandon the flex because they realize the same thing you probably already know. Happiness isn't in the bag. It's in not needing the bag. So maybe we've had it backwards this whole time. Maybe you're already living the life they're paying millions to get back to. A life where no one's watching, where you can just exist. That's the real flex, and it costs nothing.